If you are thinking about picking one up, I just want to walk you through my experience, because this bike surprised me in a couple of ways, and it also came with a few real limitations that you should know about before you commit. When I rolled it out for the first time, my initial reaction was, this feels closer to a small mope than a typical bicycle. The long bench seat, the chunky frame, and those fat tires make it look and feel serious. It is not subtle. It is also not light. I could tell right away this is the kind of electric bike that makes sense for someone who wants a comfortable ride, a lot of throttle power on demand, and the ability to cut through rougher surfaces like gravel, dirt, and grass without feeling like the bike is getting knocked around constantly. The part you notice most in daily riding is the motor. This is a 1500-watt setup, and in real use that translates to quick takeoffs and less struggling on hills. I ride a mix of pavement with some rough shortcuts, and there are a couple climbs on my usual route where lighter commuter bikes tend to slow down fast unless you pedal hard. On this one, I can stay moving without feeling like I am forcing it. On steep sections with loose gravel, it keeps pushing in a way that feels steady instead of jerky. The acceleration is strong enough that I had to retrain my right hand a little, because the throttle responds quickly, and it is easy to lurch forward if you are not expecting it. Speed-wise, I regularly see it top out around 28 miles per hour on flat ground in electric-only riding. On a slight downhill, I have seen a little more than that, but I treat that as situational. What matters more to me is that it holds speed without feeling strained, and it gets up to that speed fast enough that it feels useful in real traffic situations where you want to clear an intersection and settle into a lane. Range is always the big question, and this is where I want to be very straight with you. My bike has the 15.6 amp-hour battery. The advertised range numbers are optimistic, like they always are, and your results will depend a lot on how much you use throttle, your body weight, wind, tire pressure, and hills. My day-to-day riding is about 8.5 miles round trip with a few climbs and some uneven sections. I charge it nightly because that fits my routine, and I like starting the day with full power. In my real use, I notice the bike feels strongest for the first chunk of riding, and after roughly 20 miles of heavier throttle use, that punchy acceleration starts to fade. It still rides fine, but it loses that early snap. If I was trying to stretch distance and used pedal assist more carefully, I could go farther. But I do not like riding on the edge of empty if I do not have to. Charging takes several hours, so overnight charging is the easiest habit. Comfort is one of the main reasons I keep grabbing this bike. The long seat is legitimately useful. I can shift my position forward or back, and on longer rides that matters. It also makes it feel more stable when I am riding casually, almost like sitting on a small dirt bike. The suspension helps too. You have front suspension and another shock under the seat, and that combo takes the sting out of potholes and broken pavement. I ride across gravel and some rough trail sections, and I do not feel beat up afterward. The front suspension can feel a little bouncy on really choppy terrain, like repeated sharp hits, but on normal city roughness and casual off-road riding, it does what I want. Now the trade-off for all that comfort and sturdiness is weight. This bike is heavy, around 75 pounds. That is not something you forget. If you live upstairs or you need to carry a bike into a car often, you should pause and think about that. Even rolling it around a garage takes a little effort because once it starts leaning, you feel the mass. For me, it stays on ground level, and that makes it practical. I would not personally want this as an apartment walk-up bike. Build quality on my unit has been solid. The frame is carbon steel and it feels like it. I have taken it onto trails, over curbs, and through rough patches that would rattle a lighter bike. I actually flipped it once during a dumb off-road moment, and aside from a scratch, it kept going. One fender bolt did rattle loose over time, and I have not found the exact replacement yet, but it has not affected how the bike rides. The important stuff has held up, and it does not feel like it is slowly shaking itself apart. The tires deserve their own moment because they change how you ride. They are 20 inches in diameter and 4 inches wide. On sand, grass, and loose dirt, they give you way more control than a normal tire. You still have to respect traction, but the bike does not immediately skate around when the surface gets sketchy. I rolled over some glass early on and decided to add tire sealant. Since doing that, I have not had a flat and the tires seem to hold pressure better. One practical note: when you first get the bike, check tire pressure. Mine needed air out of the box, and low pressure can make the bike feel sluggish and can hurt range. Setup was not bad, but I would not call it perfect for someone who has never assembled a bike. Mine came mostly put together, but I still had to attach the front wheel and the handlebars, then check the brakes. The instructions were okay, but I still ended up watching a couple videos just to confirm I was not missing anything. I strongly recommend going over the bolts and making sure everything is tight before your first ride, because a heavy bike with a strong motor will find loose hardware fast. In daily use, the controls are straightforward. The display shows speed, battery level, and pedal assist setting, and it is backlit so I can read it at dusk. I can ride it with throttle only, pedal assist, or basically treat it like a regular bike if I want. Most days I use pedal assist so I still get some exercise, and I save throttle for quick starts or when I am tired. Having both options makes the bike easier to live with. You are not locked into one style of riding. The 7-speed shifting has been fine. I am over 450 miles in, and it still shifts smoothly. I use the gears mostly to keep my cadence comfortable when I am in pedal assist, and it helps when I want to conserve battery. The brakes are disc front and rear, and they have enough bite to stop this bike confidently. I have ridden in wet weather and on loose dirt, and I can slow down in a controlled way without feeling like I am just sliding. Lighting is good. The front and rear lights are bright enough that I feel seen when I ride near sunset or early morning. I do wish there were turn signals up front for street riding, because with a bike this fast and heavy, anything that helps communicate to cars is welcome. It is not a deal breaker for me, but it is something I noticed. On maintenance, I have had the normal stuff. I keep the chain clean and lubricated, especially because I ride off-road. After a few hundred miles, I notice some bearing noise up front. I replaced the bearings with some basic tools after watching a how-to video, and it was manageable. That kind of upkeep is pretty normal once you put real miles on a fat tire electric bike that sees dirt and bumps. So who is this for? In my experience, it makes the most sense for someone who wants a tough, comfortable electric bike for mixed riding. Commuting, errands, and weekend trail fun all fit. If you want something light, easy to carry, or easy to tuck into tight storage, this is probably the wrong direction. The weight is real, and you have to plan around it. But if you can store it on ground level and you like the idea of a powerful throttle, stable tires, and a seat you can actually sit on for a while, it is a practical ride that I have ended up using a lot. Overall, I have had a good time with it. It has handled rain, some snow, gravel, and uneven paths without leaving me stranded, and it feels sturdy enough that I am not babying it. It is not perfect, and it is not for everyone, but it has been reliable for the way I ride. If this video helped, subscribe to the channel and leave a comment with your questions or your experience if you have ridden one. Thank you for watching.